No need to fear. You live by the sword or you die by the sword. I'll tip my hat off to the Knicks, to Big Nick energy. Am I worried? Not at all. So that being said, Celtics in 6.
Welcome to Speak. I'm Joy Taylor, here with Super Bowl champion Keyshawn Johnson.
Hey.
NBA Finals MVP Paul Pierce. All right, well, I think it's only fair, Paul, that you start the show, you know.
Yep.
Oh,
Big uh-oh.
with the Big Nick energy,
There you go. There you go. It's only fair. All right, Paul.
Ah, everybody's on my X. Everybody's on my social media.
I think you're the first person that I've ever talked to in my life that's actually called Twitter X. Good for you.
Yeah, all right. No need to fear, though. No need to fear. Sometimes you live by the sword or you die by the sword. Unfortunately, the Celtics died by the sword. But look, no need to worry because, listen, you heard what Jaylen Brown and Tatum said. We lost because we missed a historic number of threes. Historic, which means this has never happened before. So if that's what it's going to take, the Celtics missing an historic number of threes to only lose by 3, I'm not worried because that's what it takes to beat the Celtics. So listen to this. Last year, I was telling Rick in the green room, Miami came in there last year, made a historic number of threes. They made it, and that's what it took to beat them. You know what? I'm not sweating this at all because this is not going to happen every single night. The Knicks, I take my hat off to them for being resilient, for Jalen Brunson putting in a virtuoso performance. Yes, they did that. But the Celtics realized that they gave that game away. They didn't lose it. But anyways, I'll tip my hat off to the Knicks, to Big Nick energy. You guys earned it this time. But the Celtics are going to bounce back because I don't feel like historic games like this are going to happen anymore. We're going to bounce back in game 2. And remember, we're the best road team in all of basketball. We've not lost that MSG all year long. So am I worried? Concerned? Not at all.
So that being said,
Celtics in 6.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
Celtics in 6.
getting a little more pushback.
Yeah, a little more pushback.
So the Knicks might have another historic night.
Or, you know, just a lot of cheatery that happens in Madison Square Garden. Cheatery.
They were up by 20. I don't know if you can
But that game
start talking about cheating.
Square Garden. Y'all
Yeah, they might get a game.
First.
We're not losing no more in Boston. That's a wrap. Don't worry about that. Our fans, if y'all listening, I better hear the jungle all the way from my couch here in Los Angeles come game 2. I can't wait because guess what? I'll be there.
Oh.
Not for game 2, but but for one of these upcoming games.
One of these other games.
I'm gonna surprise y'all.
Look, he should be a little concerned. A little concerned.
Oh, God, I got these on.
When you think about it, though, Joy, he brought out the broom early and often.
Who did?
Okay? He brought out the broom. You said they was going to win in 4. Don't start acting like you didn't. So now, he should be a little concerned because they already dropped 1 at home. But I'm so used to seeing Boston drop 1 in the postseason at home. They, for whatever reason they do this, Rick, I have no idea. But they do that. And when you lose at home in the postseason, or even in the regular season for that matter, what is it, TD Garden? What they call it? TD something Garden now or whatever?
You can just call it the Garden.
The Garden.
The real Garden.
Yeah, the Garden. That's not real home court advantage for Boston. They tend to play a lot better on the road than they do at home. But if they drop another one at home and they go back to New York 0-2, the series is over.
No, I wouldn't say it's over.
It's over.
How?
It's over.
We got the best road record. Even
I understand.
if we don't, unless we go down 3-0, I'm not even concerned.
Oh, so you will spot them another game. It'll go down 0-2.
You don't want to, but I'm not. My worry level is not going to be no more than it is now.
I understand. No, I'm not in sure panic mode for you either.
I have to see how they lose because how they lost in game 1, up 20.
Yeah, you blow a big
60.
lead at home. It's not great, though, Paul.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not great. I know I'm right. Rick, what is he talking about?
Paul is as all over the place as the Boston Celtics were in that game to open this segment. I'm not sure where you are. You're just giving away games. It's 6 now.
Should he be concerned about the Celtics?
No.
Thank you, Rick.
They missed 45 three-pointers.
Jeez.
Historic number of misses. They basically didn't have Kristaps Porzingis, and I've said for them to repeat, they need him. He was ill. I assume he's going to be back for the next game. Their energy was bad from the very beginning. Yeah. My issue is really with Joe Mazzulla in that I feel like he coached the score. The fact that they were up rather than they weren't playing the way they're capable of playing kept him from doing anything or really getting after anybody. But I thought they were bad from beginning to end. They had a big lead. They thought, oh, maybe we just don't have... We've beaten these guys so soundly so many times. Maybe we don't need our A game or our B game. Maybe our C game will just be good enough. And it nearly was. I mean, the reality is they still could have won in regulation, and then they still could have won in overtime, in spite of everything that they did.
But they didn't.
Okay, so do I think that they're going to play collectively that badly again in order to leave the door open for the New York Knicks to take a win? No, I do not. So, I mean, unless we're completely wrong on the Boston Celtics and what they learned from winning a championship, unless they've gained nothing from being champions, then I would look at this and just say, you know what? They got sloppy. They got lazy. They've had the wake-up call. This is not going to happen again.
So we're just not going to give the Knicks any credit for what happened last night.
I think they took advantage of a Boston Celtics team that didn't come close to playing their best. So credit them for doing that.
At what point do you stop shooting threes?
Well, you know what?
When you're highest three-point shooting team last year in the league.
I can answer that.
All time.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
All time.
When you're
5
for 15, you maybe like try your mid-range game out.
You know what, Joy? It's just that this is the way they play. Remember earlier when we talked about the game?
Shouldn't that concern you a little bit? Because let's say you get past the Knicks and you get up against a team that does actually make their three-point shots when you're missing all of them. I'm just.
Well, the Knicks shot 40.
You know more than me. Is there a point where you're like, hey guys,
but see, a lot of that has to come.
Take that extra dribble. Just take it.
I think a lot of that has to come from within. It's got to come from Coach Mazzulla. It's got to come from Jayson Tatum taking the lead on that because he missed the most threes.
He was 4 of 15.
Yeah, so it's got to come. And they, you know what? I know they looking at the stat sheet like I did. And if I had looked at this stat sheet, I'd have been like, damn. You know, I took 15 threes, only made 4. I'm looking at Derek White. I made 5 out of 16 threes.
Jaylen Brown was 1 of 10.
Jaylen Brown 1 for 10.
And they were 5 for 23 at halftime. They were shooting 21%. What were the first 2 shots that Jaylen Brown took in the third quarter?
3.
He jacked up 2 more threes. I'm like, I would hope that they would look at this and realize. And I
think they did because Tatum addressed it in the press conference about getting to the cup and getting there a little bit more.
Couldn't you do that?
Could you do that at halftime? You can do that at any point during the game.
Yeah, you can do it at any point during the game, and they probably did address it to some degree at halftime. But even so, what were they, 5 for 23?
Didn't look
so you're probably looking at it 5 for 23 at halftime and saying to yourself, but you're probably saying to yourself, they're going to start falling. Those shots are going to fall for us, and they kept taking them. They wasn't falling.
I will say they weren't all good, but there was a lot that were wide open, corner threes that they missed badly. Like Al Horford barely caught rim on one. He's generally, and he was wide open. And I was thinking, that's just bad energy. That's just, you're not really dialed in. You're not taking these guys as seriously as you should. And they didn't, and they paid the price for it.
This is my philosophy, too. If you're such a great shooting team, which the Boston Celtics are, they shoot a lot of them, right? And everybody has to get out to their shooters. There should be open lanes for you to drive. You know what I'm saying? When you're playing small ball, because guys are afraid to come off their man because they're such a threat. So I always thought, when I had the shooting team on the court, man, I'm being aggressive at getting to the basket. Guys got to be able to take their man off the dribble and get to the basket because the lanes are open. I'm shocked that the Boston Celtics don't lead the league not only in threes but in layups because they shoot so well.
I mean, I just think they got punched in the mouth last night.
They did. I mean, I don't know if that was a punch. That was more like a swing. You turned around and you turn back and you look, and there was a fist coming.
I mean, did they come to the fight drunk?
Yeah, it was like we beating you up, and then we just man, we ain't.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take it
I don't think they got
put
punched.
my guard down. We just put our guard down or something. It wasn't like then it was like one of those. It was like Buster Douglas.
It was self-inflicted.
Douglas versus Tyson.
Didn't expect it.
Well,
All of a sudden,
I guess what we're saying is we just don't take the Knicks that seriously then.
I don't think the Knicks are going to beat them, Joy. In 7 games, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I understand they got a little cute comeback and all that. It was cute.
Calling it cute is crazy.
No, it was cute.
No,
it was it was good. It was a good. It was an opportunity.
Cute means that you do not take them seriously.
It was an opportunity for social media to troll Paul,
100%.
and for me to text him and troll him. That's really it's an opportunity for that. And we'll get one more of those before they close them out.
So you think it'll be Boston in 6 as well?
Yeah.
Well, Jayson Tatum went 5. Rick is still saying 5.
You don't think they can bring out the broom on the next 4?
I think it's a gentleman's sweep. I think they got one. I mean, I'm assuming that the Celtics are going to wake up because this was pre-championship. This was as bad as I think they can play.
And only lost by
and they lost in overtime.
But you really lost by more than 3, even though it says by 3 because you gave up a 20-something point lead. So they caught you and passed you.
So it was a 23-point
also,
loss?
I don't know about the proximity of losses once we get to the postseason. Like a win, there's no moral victories here.
Agreed.
Right.
Well, Jayson Tatum went 1 for 9 in the 4th quarter in overtime last night. So can the Celtics trust Jayson Tatum?
Absolutely. I mean, Jayson Tatum has done this time and time again. He's had big games, bounce-back games. Do I trust my guy who's probably going to finish 3rd or 4th in the MVP vote, and a guy who's a Mr. Olympian, a champion, a guy who's proven to be most likely going to be first-team All-NBA again? Of course you can trust Jayson Tatum. He's a smart player, has a high basketball IQ, realized that, hey, if the shots aren't falling, we got to find other ways to get buckets. And I think he realizes that. And usually the great players, they figure it out. And I know we all up here consider Jayson Tatum a great player. So I expect him to bounce back, have a great game, and the Celtics to get back on track.
You know, you got to trust him. And they believe in him. And this isn't the first time in the postseason he had bad shooting nights. He's had some bad shooting nights in his career in the postseason. This one just stands out because of the three-point shooting, because of the 1-9 in 4th quarter overtime. But, of course, they can. I mean, he's their leader. He's their guy. He's their MVP. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I mean, he grabbed the boards. He also had and he contributed in other ways other than scoring points. 16 boards, 7 assists. I mean, he contributed in other ways.
Yeah, but we wouldn't say it was a good game for him.
No, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying he contributed in other ways other than scoring. What we tend to do is we look at his scoring percentage and where he's shooting from and why is he 1-9 in late game situations. But my whole point to this, Rick, is this isn't the first time that this has happened in his career, and it's not going to be the last.
I agree with you there.
Because he's not perfect.
I think you can trust that he's going to have a game like this every now and then. Because he's not a pure scorer. He's kind of a do-everything type player.
Not a what?
Not a pure scorer.
Where'd you get that from? He averaged 30,
But he's a do-everything guy. It's not. You don't look at him.
So who's a pure scorer in the NBA? What do you mean when you say pure scorer?
Steph's a pure scorer. James Harden's a pure scorer.
Kevin Durant, pure scorer.
Kevin Durant.
I don't get that one. Hold on. You got to explain this to me. You got some explaining to do. Pure scorer. The man averages like 28 in the last 5 years. What's pure score? Like Giannis is not a pure scorer to me. That makes more sense. But not Jayson Tatum. You understand?
You know, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? And Giannis averaged 32 points this year.
My problem is that there's certain matchups where I don't think Jayson gets his, and I thought that happened yesterday. Like
That's because of him, though, not because he's not a pure scorer.
But when I don't like him in ISO. When I think of a pure scorer, it's like I'm going to give you the ball and you can score against almost just anybody. You can get your ball.
Like Russell Westbrook averaged 30, but he's not a pure scorer. You understand? Russell Westbrook averaged 30 in this league, but he's not a pure scorer.
You don't like Jayson Tatum in ISO?
Yeah, he just don't like Tatum. Just say that, Rick. Don't say he's not a pure scorer. Say, I don't like Tatum.
I thought he got robbed of being the MVP of their championship.
So what is he? How you describe his game? What is his game? He's not a. Is he a rebounder, a passer?
ISO one-on-one is scary to me because he can go to the cup because of.
Well, then why didn't he do it yesterday?
The same reason.
He settled.
Because he settled. The same reason why we had the conversation the other day about why, I don't know who it was we were talking about yesterday, why they didn't shoot a certain percentage or why they didn't do certain things. Certain times, James Harden, that's what it was. Why James Harden didn't decide to take more than 8 shots is because he didn't do it.
And we dragged him for that.
But Jayson had 23 shots.
yeah,
He didn't have 8.
He took the shots.
He took the shots. They just didn't fall. And no, I'm not a Celtic fan.
He was settling, was he not?
That's what I said.
He could have scored.
Yeah, he
could have scored in other ways.
I mean, you shoot 15 threes out of the 23 shots. That's settling.
I don't see him as a pure scorer. I think he can score. I think what he does is he looks at what the Celtics are doing, and he can contribute in a multitude of ways. He can rebound, he can defend, he can make some plays, he can score. But if I'm trusting him to be my go-to scorer, that scares me. And we've been having this debate. We've been having this debate forever.
Like Jalen Green scares me to be my go-to scorer. That's who scared me in Houston. He's their most talented player, but he's not ready for the consistency.
But the reason that Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP was because he was their go-to scorer.
Jaylen Brown was more consistent in that playoffs series than Tatum.
Sure.
No, I'm not gonna let you sit up here and tell me that, Rick. You're not gonna do that to me.
Was Jaylen Brown
okay? So why are we
hit that big shot?
Hold on.
And he hit that big shot.
So
in the
why
corner
are we out here? Why are we up here
OT?
today talking about Jaylen Brown going 1 for 10, 7 for 20, trusting him?
Because Jayson Tatum, in my mind, made that step this year. I saw a guy who went past Jaylen Brown as their most important player and the guy who was getting it done in the clutch.
Okay.
That was my feeling this year.
And you didn't feel that last year?
I didn't feel that last night. This, to me, was the Jayson Tatum that I had seen previously, where it's like, you have a matchup that you should be taking advantage of, and you are settling for threes, and you're not hitting threes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
a fair point.
I struggle with that.
Okay.
And I struggle with that to say you're a pure scorer when it's like, you're going to find, look, with Steph Curry, doesn't always hit the threes. But somehow, some way, he's going to find his way to get his buckets when you need them. To me, that's a pure scorer.
But to say that, for you to say that he's not a pure scorer, and then to say he's settled, I agree with you on that. But to say he's not a pure scorer, he can take you off the dribble, as I was saying, with his length if he wanted to go to the cup. He can pull mid-range.
Like
he can knock down.
I think we have different definitions of what pure scorer is.
But this dude done called game 1,000,000 times in his NBA career for the Celtics. As a clutch, close it out.
A little stretch.
Well, maybe, whatever you want to call it. Whatever. Many times over,
But
Rick.
we do all agree that the Celtics can still trust Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am still I'm trusting that this is the aberration. This is the exception rather than the rule. Mm-hmm. I did not feel that way prior to last year in the playoff run. There were too many times, particularly in the playoffs, there were too many times where they looked at Jayson to take them, and for whatever reason, he couldn't get it done.
I want to see how they bounce back in game 2.
What did you vote for in my MVP?
That was the other thing. You had him where on the MVP ballot?
Probably like 3rd or 4th.
Where you have him?
I think he's going to be 4th.
What number did you get?
He was 4th.
He don't like you.
Who was
Period.
He's on my MVP ballot. It was Jokic, Shea, Giannis, Jayson Tatum.
Giannis at home.
Cade Cunningham.
Joe Curry is playing.
All right, well, let's talk about the exciting finish in the other game 1 last night. The Nuggets shocked the Thunder in Oklahoma City, stealing game 1 thanks to a Herculean efforts from Nikola Jokic and Aaron Gordon's game-winning 3. The drama of it all. Shea poured in 33 points and dished out 10 assists, but it was not enough. The Nuggets. Rick, should the Thunder be on upset alert?
Oh, yes, they should. Yes, they should. Because if these games are going to be close, and it's really a result of the Thunder's own success during the regular season. They played a total of 5 games that were decided by 3 points or less during the regular season. That's the fewest of anybody by far in the league.
For sure.
And they lost 4 out of those 5. Now, if you look at the Denver Nuggets, conversely, put aside all of their previous experience in winning close games, they were 8-6 in those games during the regular season. That's more the norm. You play 10 to 15 to 20 games that are decided by 3 points or less, and they're now 3-1 in the playoffs as a result. They were essentially, when this game got down to the last 5-6 minutes and it became a possession-by-possession game, the Denver Nuggets were in their happy place. And I kept thinking all game long, the Oklahoma City Thunder were leading by 8, by 10, by 12, and I'm watching them. I'm watching the Nuggets, and the Nuggets were not the least bit fazed by falling behind. And I kept thinking, Thunder, you need to push this to 18 or 20. You got the opportunity. Nuggets aren't really playing that well. You need to push this out. And they were comfortable, like, oh, hey, we're good. We're up by 8. We're up by 10. We're good. And then we got to the last 6 minutes, and their lack of experience, how they handled the clock, who was taking the shots, Mark Dagnall's execution. There was a timeout that he took that I thought, you don't need to take that timeout. You need to keep that because this is going to go to last possession. And so they just made a multitude of mistakes, and I just looked at it as lack of experience in those games. And I think they're going to see more of those in this series. And if they're lucky enough to get out of the series, they're going to see more of them coming down the line.
I'm not ready to say the Thunder should be on upset alert yet because I feel like Denver kind of like snatched it at the end because they was never up. You know, to me, this was more about the coaching at the end. It was like the foul that was given when they were up 3. They gave a foul with 11 seconds to go. Remember that? I thought they fouled too soon.
And they fouled too quick in the clock. Let some time run off the clock.
Yeah, so it was a couple little things that I saw that had something to do with coaching. So I'm not ready to say that yet. And you're right, Rick. If the games are close, it does favor Denver because, like, when you don't play that many close games in the regular season, you get in these situations where it's the most stressful point of the season in the playoffs now, and you're playing a close game, and you, like, used to blowing everybody out, you don't know how to react. But I don't think these games will be close. I don't think the next game will be close because that's what Oakland AC has done all year long. Stretch the lead. I don't believe they'll give this lead up again. And they have a closer in Shea that I'm confident in. I thought this loss came down to the coaching, truthfully.
You know, they should be on upset alert. The Nuggets got veteran players that 2 years ago, they just won a championship. And some of those same guys are there. Although Michael Porter Jr. didn't, I don't know.
Man, he should have been on the couch next to me.
Look,
no, seriously.
Can we
he
find
should have been sitting next to me last night.
You know, outside of that, when you look at what they have offensively between Joker and Murray, they're able to still get it done at a high level. Now, coaching does play a part in certain situations, like Paul said at the end of that game, but they're not getting a whole lot. OKC didn't get a whole lot out of Jalen Williams. He just didn't give them a whole lot. You would think that he would give them a little bit more. Shea's going to do what Shea's going to do, but they don't have an answer for the potato. Mm-hmm. That's the
potato?
Yeah, because it looks so plain and
what's
just
my boy name in
boring.
In the Minions? What's my boy name in the Minions?
Gru.
You talking about Gru?
It just,
that's what he.
Like I was saying, he's giving you 42 and 22 plus 6 assists, and he's just standing there looking at these dudes. It ain't no disrespect. It's just bland, and he walks out of there. It's like, he got 42.
No, it looked like Big Brother versus Little Brother.
Big Brother versus Little. Paul Pierce gets a bunch of little third graders playing basketball. And anytime you got that, you got an edge. Because Chet, he need to be able to put me, Rick, Paul, and you in his back pocket and get some weight. Because that dude, he just backing him down like this. He just backing him right on down, get underneath the rim and go, boop. You ain't going to be put in a great position when that happens. So they don't even have a defender to be able to stop him from getting the low post. And then when you decide to stop him from getting the low post, guess what he does? He pops out, he knocks down a 3 on you, or knocks down a jumper, or a little bunny hook or something. Yeah, it's just crazy watching him play. Joey, I don't know what else to say.
42 and 22 is disgusting.
That's disgusting.
Crazy.
That's disgusting.
Disgusting.
And then if you want to add on the little 6 assists, add that on top of it.
We'll put a little 6 assists on. 42 and 22 is disgusting.
Disgusting.
And ain't a muscle in his body. And he just walked back.
I don't even feel like he played well yesterday either.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's the crazy
He had a slow start.
Man, he was turning the ball
He was slow
over.
the whole game. You act like he sped up at some point.
And he was in foul trouble.
And in foul trouble. I was like...
That's this right here. Or this one.
The Thunder should have been on upset alert regardless to me. I don't know. I feel like the Nuggets are a legitimate threat to win this series. I understand how good the Thunder have been all season long.
Thunder reading their own press clippings.
They're young and exciting, and they're ascending, and they've got an MVP candidate, possible MVP this year. They're wonderful. They've got 6 players on that roster that won a title with Denver that are still there.
Yeah.
They have the best player on the planet, this guy, and Jamal Murray as well. Like, their top 2 players are there and available, and their top player just happens to be the best player on the planet still.
And think about that one. You talked about Murray, you talked about Joker, but we haven't even mentioned Brody, a former MVP in the league, and we haven't even said anything about the energy that he brings to the table.
And to me, he's the X factor. Because I think the absence or the disappearance of Michael Porter Jr. would be felt a lot more if you weren't getting what you're getting consistently out of Russell. Yes, it's a little bit up and down in the games themselves, but he's consistently overall giving you something every single game.
And if nothing else, that energy that he brings.
Yeah. So which is totally different from Michael Porter Jr.
That junk will be flying up and down the court.
Right, but that's important, especially when you're going up against a young team.
Yep.
Not that the Nuggets are old, but certainly when we're talking about the experience level and the miles that these 2 teams have, they're older than the Thunder. I don't know. I think they're still a pretty deep team, the Nuggets are. I understand the coaching thing kind of threw all of us, and I don't want to overreact too much to this, but this, like, it coming down to one possession thing, like, isn't that what the playoffs are supposed to be?
Sure.
The playoffs
generally are.
You have the best teams in the league in the postseason. These aren't going to be blowouts every single night. It's going to come down to coaching. It's going to come down to decision making. It's going to come down to experience. It's going to come down to poise. It's going to come down to shot decisions on what and who should take these shots. Do you do one more pass like Russ did to Aaron Gordon to hit that shot to win the game? That's all experience to me. So I think the Thunder should absolutely be on upset alert.
Yeah. No, and to your point, I think that's one of the things that was missing last night is, the ball is going to go to Jokic, and it's going to be Jokic and Jamal Murray playing 2-man game, and then everybody else is playing off of that. With the Oklahoma City Thunder at crunch time yesterday, I think I saw 4 different guys take a shot or try to create a shot and get something. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is your guy. He's got to touch the ball on every possession, and he should be determining what and how you're going to get it.
Yeah, you can be almost too unselfish.
Exactly, and it's again, kind of a byproduct of all the success that they had during the season. They were equal opportunity. Everybody's getting their buckets. He's getting his, but everybody's getting theirs. And when you get to this point in the season, it has to be, this is the guy who's running the show, and everybody's playing off of that.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.